Hello guys, this is Chuck Passaro from Siren Ship Model Company. Here to make a video and talk to you about how to plank the bow of the HMS Winchelsea, the Winnie. And I just want to thank all of you guys for taking on the project. I'm surprised and excited about how much interest there is in it. And if you're up to this point in Chapter 2 where you're planking below the whales, you have already lined off your hull. As you can see here on my prototype here, you can see all the tick marks and the hull is lined off. This is something that I think is crucial to do before you actually start putting a plank on the model. That isn't the subject of this video. However, the process was described in detail in Chapter 2, and now that the hull is all lined off, we're going to proceed to plank at the bow. Now, as you know, if you're new to ship modeling, this could be quite a challenge. A lot of folks struggle to plank the bow and get their strips to lay flat against each bulkhead, etc. So we're going to go through the steps that I use to prepare each plank to be glued onto the hull at the bow. And it's really not that difficult. Step one is going to be to taper the end of the plank. And as you can see here, and as in any hull, the plank width is going to be 1/4 of an inch at midship, and slowly it's going to taper as it fits into the stem rabbet here. And we are going to first describe how to measure and taper the plank appropriately to match our lining off. And you can see I have all these tick marks from our lining off here that will determine the width of the plank at each bulkhead. Step 2 will then be to take that tapered plank over and pre-bend it so that it will lay flat against each bulkhead edge, and then once it's pre-bent, we'll come back here and do a test fit on the video. So let's begin. The first thing that I do is I will place, and I know it's a little awkward here, guys, with the camera. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's kind of stuck in there, so it's a little difficult to manage and get in here to show you folks. But the first thing that I do is I will cut a taper that matches the taper or angle of the stem here on the edge of the plank. And then I'll mark the width that I need as the plank goes into the stem rabbet, as you can see here. But now I also want to do that to each bulkhead along the hull. So that's easy enough too. And I'm not doing any crazy measurements or being obsessive about the details, but I'm just measuring and indicating with a line where each bulkhead edge is. And this is done all across the strip until it reaches 1/4 of an inch wide at its widest point. So once that's done, we have to take these measurements at each bulkhead and transfer them to our strip. And it's easy enough. You're going to have plenty of these cutoffs. Hopefully you can see this as you're planking the hull. And I'll just slide this up and make a mark on this scrap piece to where the tick mark is on the bulkhead. And then I'll take my strip, and again it's a little awkward with the camera in the way, usually I do this on the table, and transfer that location to the strip. And I will do that at each bulkhead. I'll take the measurement and then transfer it to that line that I made on the strip. And you don't have to get crazy here. We'll have plenty of opportunity to tweak these later on. And I'm going to move steadily down the hull and do this for every bulkhead. So I've already taken the liberty of doing that on this strip. And once you've made your tick marks all along the strip to indicate the taper needed, you're going to draw a straight edge connecting them all, which is easy enough. I just have a steel ruler that I do that. If you can see that, there's a pencil line going from one strip to the next. So now I'm going to take this back to my table and cut it along this line, a little outside this line, with sharp number 11 X-Acto blade, and then sand it close or right on this line. And then we're going to come back here and talk about how we're going to edge bend this. So let me go do that, and I will be right back. Thanks.